What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Childish, back at it again, getting ready to talk about a little concept that I have in mind, and I think it can assist you in realizing the truth and helping you improve your game. Because me, as well as other YouTubers, get questions that come all too often, and I think it just kind of comes down to realizing where you're at and making the switch necessary to improve your game. So, are you ready to make the switch? That's the name of the game right now. That's the topic of here. And what am I talking about here when I say making the switch? Not too bad of a room. Are you ready to make the necessary change that necessarily, the necessarily, the necessary change to improve your game despite what you feel is the most optimal way? Because sometimes we get blindsided by what we like to do versus what we need to do. And, in addition to that, sometimes it takes another voice to tell us not what we want to hear, but what we need to hear. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and break that down with some examples from some of our YouTubers and use their experiences to hopefully inspire you to make the switch. Okay, so we're going to start out with Blacky Bear. When I first got started in the channel, if you guys didn't know, one of the new, I wanted to be more than just a person that's doing summoning sessions or arena sessions. I knew that being a free-to-play player, I can't sit here and do 17 summoning sessions per day like other people do, right? So I had to figure out ways to relate to my community in addition to promote my community. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that, but I'm not going to toot my own horn, right? And one of the things that I did was incorporate a subscriber showcase. And it got started off really well, because I utilized the ability to find people on my friends list and showcase their units and then do the arena fights. However, because I only have 50 people on my friends list, I didn't get the opportunity to do it all so often. So I asked Blacky Bear, who was an up-and-coming YouTuber. I think he had maybe 75 to 100 subscribers. And I asked him if I can do a subscriber showcase on him. And he said, "Oh, that sounds great." And so I went ahead and went over his units. And for those that don't know, Blacky Bear was he got the nickname of the Wind Man, right? Because if you noticed early on in the game, he got lucky with a lot of win units, but because of that, he basically was able to utilize his win team. It was the Wind Living Armor, Shannon, the Bernard, Lucian, and I'm sure I'm forgetting another one here. But those were some of his primary ones. Oh, and Orochi. He actually has two Orochis, right? So, what did he do in his arena? Him, like myself and the many others, we were in the mid stages of the game in arena, and we basically, for him, he utilized the mono element team, the win team, to get the job done. And normally, it did really, really well because he had the speed. He had everything that he needed to, get it going and get some wins. But of course, he lost a lot in the arena defense, like all of us, because we were focused on our arena offense, not our arena defense. And he wasn't too. He didn't realize, like, why am I not doing so well? In the arena defense, my team is pretty good, but mono element teams in the arena defense in the mid stages of the games are very, very exploitable. So we did the, fast forward, we did the summoning, we did the arena, we did the subscriber showcase, and I kind of talked about some of the units that I like to see. And I pointed out the fact that he was very, very, at this time, he just utilized his arena offense, the win team. He didn't focus on units that were, in my eyes, as well as many of the top players' eyes at that time, very, very great units to utilize in the arena defense, and that was his light team. He had himself one of the rarest units in the game, the light Epicon Priest, but he did not utilize it. And after doing a review on there, I saw that he basically had the opportunity to make a super strong light based arena defense. Okay, now let's go ahead and fast forward, because sometimes we as YouTubers see something and we're like, he just throwing it out there. I mean, my way is good. I'm gonna stick with that, this and that. Well, he took that advice, and for those that now know, he is currently a Guardian player, and his arena defense is primarily made out of light-based teams, and rightfully so, because he took the time to focus on them, get them maxed out, get the runes on them, and he has just ripping it up now in the arena. So, the example right there, even though he was fixated on the win team, because that's what got him the wins offensively, it was a combination of the wins offensively plus him winning defensively, or not getting attacked as much defensively, because he focused on those light units and got himself skyrocketed up to arena over the course of the last 4 or 5 months. Okay. So he was probably the one first person that, in my eyes, obviously beside me, that made the switch for the better. So let's go ahead and throw me in there and fast forward, because he decided to, wanted to talk to me on the side, and said, "Hey, do you mind if I do a showcase on you?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, sure." And of course, at that time, I believe I had a little bit more experience than him, so I was curious to hear his response, but I was kind of skeptical, because I was like, "Oh, well, is he going to really provide me any information?" But like I always say, guys, the person that thinks they know everything knows nothing. So I say, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it, because everybody has many ways of setting up. There's no real way to set up a unit, one way or the other. There's many ways to do it. So he took a look at my setup, and he wanted to make a video on the subscriber show, like a showcase on my units. Well, the funny thing of it is that he had made a video on it, but truthfully, I don't think it was a matter of him wanting to make a video to see what I can change, but just stating the obvious flaw in my team in order to improve, right? He basically could have just told me, hey, you got a mistake. This is what you need to do, and fix it, right? And I'm very grateful that he did, have the courage to make the video and show people, because people think that because they got 100 subscribers, or this 500, whatever, this and that they know everything, when we could be making mistakes right underneath our nose, right? So for those that don't know, I had one of the units that got a lot of how do I say, talk, when I first got started, was Ardella. A lot of people were really intrigued and really excited about making an Ardella 6-star, because of the way I had him set up. And basically, out of all the units that I had, Ardella had my best runes. She was maxed out in skill and had the best runes, and she was one-shotting everybody that I fought, anywhere from 16K upwards of 32K, which is great, right? It's getting the job done. However, at the time that I was having the best runes on her, I had Lucian as well. And Lucian was rocking Rage Blade, but he did not have a lot of attack damage to it. All the greatest attack runes were on Ardella. So in a 20-minute video, basically he showcased the concept of, am I ready to make the switch as far as prioritizing my strongest units to improve my overall arena performance. And what I mean by that is, he recommended to take my runes off Ardella and basically just slap them on Lucian. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, initially, like, why is that? Why do I want to do that, right? Well, the thing of it is guys, as good as Ardella was runed and skilled up, maxed up, Lucian is the one that has the most potential, because as we all know, he has an AoE ignore defense attack. So if you have a unit, if you have the ability to put either one of these units with 2400 attack, why not put the unit that has the ability to do that same amount of damage but ignore defense? And in addition to ignore defense, utilize it as an AoE. So not only can I one-shot a unit like I was with Della, but I can one-shot multiple units or get really darn close and then clean up the mess with the rest of the team. So he made an extremely good observation that I think put him on the map with regards to helping other people. I believe that gave him the courage to continue to help others, because that was a really, really good point. And I'm really glad he took the time to do that, because as you guys now know, he is one of the top people now that is providing videos to help others, and providing great insight to people's setups, right? So he inspired me to make the switch, and what that entailed me to do was to basically, before switching the runes, actually look at the runes that I have and see what I can do to make the switch, but get the most out of my runes that I have available. So if you're looking, I'll go ahead and probably throw a link on there. If you're looking for that particular switch that I made, it's episode 14 of my Critical Thinking All About Balance Part 2, where I actually switch my runes, but then I showcase some of the additional runes that I have to not only get the, man, I'm feeling hard, not only get the runes that I need, but to, increase the damage without losing the primary stats that I was focused on. So let's go ahead and switch it up from Blacky Bear and myself. I want to talk about, since we're on the concept of Blacky Bear, let's go ahead and talk about ChildishPlays. So for those that don't know, ChildishPlays also has a Summoners War channel, which for the first few months he basically just showcased his summoning sessions. And I asked him, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go with the summoning channel? He's like, well, I want to improve. Well, as much as everyone loves summoning sessions, they're only watching you perform, right? What can you do to improve? What kind of switch can you make in order to make your in-channel increase? So fast forward to now, he has kind of how do I say, made a variety of different videos. He has now done a couple of helping videos, similar to Blacky Bear. He is now making arena videos, right? And he is even, talk about a guy that's going out of his way to help others. He even has a second account that he is making a storyline on called The Story of Quail, so that he can eventually one day give that to a future Summoners War player that might not have been too fortunate with their startup of their own account. Giving them an opportunity to start over again and really enjoy the game with a a reasonably decent set of units and skills. So he made the switch on that. In addition, he got one of the best reviews I've ever seen in a very long time, since the Chimera days, from Blacky Bear, that told him, that kind of saw the same thing in him, where he was focused on trying to get his, what he says, the elusive 5-star, when in all reality he had all the units to make for a great arena and Trial of Ascension and dungeon team. And he did that. He listened to Blacky Bear, made the switch, and he improved his arena points about 400 to 500 points, from Fighter 2 to like Conqueror 2 now. Doing so much better now. So I'm really glad he did it. And as if you've seen his videos, he gives shout outs to Blacky Bear all the time, because sometimes we as YouTubers, we get so, we as summoners, we get so fixated. It's like, I got to keep on summoning. I need to get that 5-star. I need to get that 5-star. When in all reality, we really don't need 5 stars. We just need, if we just need, high quality units in the 3-star, 4-star range. Focus on them, level them up, ruin them up, and you're gonna do well. I made a comment to a lot of people in the Summoners War Epic Fail summoning sessions that, obviously my wife wants a 5-star like everybody else. But if you notice right here, this is probably about 60% of the units that she's had, but she has had some absurd luck when it comes to summoning 4-star units. So you can kind of take a look right there. Some of the 4-stars she's got, and all the colors. I think the wind side was probably the most. Yeah. So the wind side, she really tore it up with regards to the 4-star units. So, now as you see right here with the video, I made the switch. She made the switch. We're now focusing on giants. and getting our main units that you saw in the showcase in the fight here, getting them 5-star runes all the way around plus 12. So yeah, that was Valdis plays there. Then we got Dubbies there. Let's go ahead and talk about Neo Crown. Neo Crown, there we go. So Neo Crown, my man, aka the Grinder. I call him the Grinder because he definitely deserves some recognition. So you guys saw him when he first got started. He was fortunate enough to get the Zyros and got it leveled up, got a good few units, but realized that his units, he had some holes in his arena that didn't allow him to do as good as he wanted. So what did he do? Instead of focusing like other people do, we're trying to get their 6 stars real quick. He focused on the fusion option, which was implemented at the end of last year, and he did what he had to do, grinded out the scenarios to get the drops on the 3-star monsters that he needed. He refrained from upgrading his units from 5-star to 6-star so that he can use the fodder needed to make the fusions needed. And not only did he make a couple of them for the fusion, but he made some extra ones for himself. So, which was kind of a blessing in disguise, because one of the main units that he made for himself was the Fire Joker. And then weeks gone by, and he gets himself a Wind Oracle. So this is huge because those two in combination, like you guys have seen on the on his YouTube channel, have made a strong impact on his arena team, getting up into the Conqueror 3 Guardian 1 range. The Kaboom team is what he calls it. I'm sure other people call it that too, but that's what I'm talking about, guys. When you have the opportunity to make a switch, weigh the benefits versus barriers. Yes, fusions take a long time, but if you see a unit in there that will drastically improve your game, why not? Take a step back so you can leap and take 5 steps forward? At the end of the day, all games are going to take a long time to improve, or to grind. You're gonna have to do the grind. You have to do all the stuff. But if your end goal is to be the best somebody you can be, you got to realize the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts, but I promise you that when you do what you got to do to improve your game, it'll be big. Who else can we talk about? Let's hit up Schizophrenic Gamer, since he's up there too. Schizophrenic Gamer, when he first got started, he was, had a few good 3-star units, worked on them, focused on them, the Fire Inferno and the Fire Grim Reaper. Love those units. He's a big fan favorite of the units, and he had them set up, in addition to some other units, to do the most damage possible, which was great. But then he tried to improve in his Trial of Ascension and realized that, Trial of Ascension is not just about damage, right? Trial of Ascension is more than damage. It's about having the necessary debuffs to make the fight easier. It's about having the necessary hit points to survive big hits. But most importantly, in my opinion, it's about having the necessary stuns or crowd control needed to smoothly get through the fight. So if you guys didn't know, he picked up, around the way, maybe, I don't know, a few months ago, he picked up a dark, he picked up a dark living armor. Living armor. He picked up a dark living armor, and he, most people were like, "Oh, dark living armor, not too good or whatever." But he noticed one thing, in combination with his recent unit Tyron, the Water Sylph. He noticed that the opportunity to utilize a despair set on units that have 2 AoEs was very, very beneficial for a Trial of Ascension, as far as isolating particular units and getting through it very, very quickly. So what did he do? He based his main team, his biggest units around despair, and I think he has a despair based team, 3 or 4 units that are despair set up, and basically with 3 units having 2 AoEs a pop, Trilo Ascension for him is very very doable as far as how he was doing, in the first few seasons versus how he's doing now. He's doing a lot better. He's really getting up there in levels, so I'm super excited to see him move up and finish out the trial because I do believe he has some quality units and can get the job done now. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and probably cut off the video right there. There's a lot more YouTubers that I could throw out there, but I just basically what I want to show you is that we all make mistakes, and sometimes it takes another YouTuber, it takes another close friend or a random person on the forums to have us notice those mistakes, and we need to have an open mind and try to take those advices and see if we can use them for the better. Are you ready to make the switch? And regardless of where you at in your stage of the game, there's many ways of doing that. So I greatly appreciate all the advice that was given to me over the last 4 months, especially from people like Drago helping me out with my channel. I especially thank all the people that stepped up and said, "Hey, Childish, what about this or what about that, or why do this or why do that?" Have you thought about that? All the people that kind of pointed out something that might have been beneficial to myself or others. Again, it's just a matter of taking that leap of faith, listening to people, and seeing if that they're what they are saying is going to be helpful for your situation or whatnot. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut the video off right there because I know it's stupid long. I doubt anybody made it through the video since I was rambling the whole time, but I hope that you guys got the concept down and realized that it's not just you or it's me. There's a lot of people that have really opened up their game, and it comes down to just taking the time to listen people and not be so quick to judge on what they're saying or so quick to dismiss what they have to say, because sometimes it takes that person, that random person, to have the courage to step up and say, "Hey, you know what? I noticed something. Please test this out and see how it helps you improve your game." So, are you ready to make the switch, guys? Tell me down below your stories and how you made the switch to improve your game. Let's share those stories. All right. So it's your boy ChildishPlays, checking out. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. I'm out.